Hello everyone, this is Movie Recap. Today, we are going to introduce a science fiction movie released in 2016 named Space Traveler. This is a story that takes place in the interstellar migration journey. Some people said that the plot is very unreasonable. Let's see what's going on here. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. In the vast expanse of space, the interstellar ship Avalon is on its way to the colony planet Homeworld 2. The speed of the ship is 50% of the speed of light, and the energy shield in front of the ship can withstand the impact of meteorites on the way, so that 258 spaceship crew members and 5,000 passengers can spend this long journey in the sleeping cabin. But then the spacecraft entered a dense area of asteroids. A boulder slammed head-on into the ship. The violent collision caused the ship's interior to shake. Multiple fusion reactors were also damaged, although the system automatically repaired some of the failures. But the 1498 dormant silo has an accident. A mechanical engineer named Jack was wrongly awakened by the intelligent system. The intelligent guide is programmed to tell him that the 120-year-long journey has come to the end. They are about to arrive at the colony planet Homeworld 2. Jack was excited about this, but he soon discovered that the lobby of the ship was empty. So Jack quickly went to the crew office. However, there was still nobody here. Panicked Jack had no choice but to follow the instructions to the captain's bridge. But when he looked through the window, but found the bridge was also empty, he then realized that he might be the only waking passenger on the entire ship. After that, Jack went to the observation deck. By asking, he finally knew that the spacecraft had only been traveling for 30 years. There are still 90 years to reach the destination. Jack was shocked by this truth. He quickly sent a message to Earth. But his despair is that the message will reach Earth after 19 years, and receive a reply to wait at least 55 years. Jack's mind was instantly blank. But when he passed by the bar, he found a bartender. So he immediately dashed over. However, the bartender is only a robot named Arthur. After that, Jack doesn't want to sit and try to repair his dormant bin. As a result, the dormant bin could not be repaired at all, and he almost died in it. Then he used a lot of tools to try to open the bridge door. But it failed again and again. Jack was so painful. When he chatted with bartender Arthur, frustrated Jack was suddenly inspired and decided to enjoy the moment. He pried open the superior suite and moved in. After that, he began to have fun and enjoy fine dining. But after the madness, there was still a huge loneliness and emptiness. Jack was so desperate that he came to the sightseeing platform outside the ship. The vast universe was right in front of him, quiet and deep. Jack leapt down and let himself float in this empty darkness. He thought about his helpless situation and could not help but shed tears of sorrow. His small body was submerged under the stars. After returning to the ship, Jack took off his spacesuit, and he wanted to die. He wanted to throw himself into the cold space. But the human instinct to survive made him give up. When he ran back, he fell in panic. Just then, he saw a woman who made his heart flutter, Lola. By searching and watching Lola's profile, Jack knew that she is a writer, and everything about her is fascinating to Jack. So Jack starts to have evil thoughts, and he wants to wake Lola up. Although after a fierce struggle with his mind, Jack has decided to give up his evil thoughts. But the terrible loneliness and emptiness finally made him wake up Lola. Watching Lola slowly wake up, the panicked Jack quickly ran back to his room. His heart could not be calm for a long time. Later, Jack pretended to meet Lola by chance, and told her the reality of what they were about to face. Lola was terrified when she knew the terrible truth. She desperately wants to continue her hibernation. But Jack told Lola that the hibernation bin can only remain dormant. To enter hibernation requires special equipment. However, Lola still did not want to give up. She continued to search for a way to enter hibernation. After a period of time of trying, Lola gradually gave up hope and finally accepted the reality. There was nothing she could do, and she slowly began to get along with Jack. The two confided in each other. And Jack also learned from the conversation that Lola was not looking for a change of scenery to start over. She bought a round-trip ticket and will return to Earth after a year on Homeworld 2. At that time, this experience will be a unique story. She would even become a beloved writer. But the harsh reality dashed her dreams. Lola has no choice but to have fun in time. She danced with Jack, played basketball with him. The two became regulars at the theater and they laughed at the bar. Then Lola accepts Jack's confession of love. The two start dating and their relationship grows, just like a loving couple. Jack also took Lola to the observation deck in an astronaut suit. Enjoy the vast and profound universe with her. After turning off their respective magnetic shoes, the two floated back into deep space. Lola was also surrounded by endless romance. After this, she falls completely in love with Jack. The couple began a life of indulgence and happiness. They make love in the empty dining room. In the observation area of the ship, they watched the dazzling star of the Big Horn together. And clinging to each other in this magnificent and unusual sight. Toady was Lola's birthday. Jack finally decided to propose to her. However, Arthur, the bartender, reveals the fact that Jack woke Lola up. This made Laura collapse in an instant. Jack's deception made her even more crazy. She cannot believe that her lover caused all this disaster and ruined everything for her. The two of them, who had been so close to each other, became strangers in the blink of an eye. But something even more horrible happens. The ship's systems have malfunctioned so badly that they cannot be repaired automatically. But Jack and Lola are unaware of this. One of them continues to grieve, and the other is still trying to find a way to get each other's forgiveness. Jack even planted a small tree into the hull of the airship. This makes Lola happy, who hasn't been close to nature for a long time. But as the system failure became more and more serious, the restaurant's machines also began to fail, and the elevator was stuck in midair. At that moment, the voice of deck leader Gus suddenly came over the radio broadcast. Hearing the sound, Jack and Lola quickly came and told him the current situation. Gus led them into the bridge but could not check the fault logs in the system. So he assigned them to go to the technical station to collect the failure data manually. Because of Gus's physical problems, he had to go back to rest first. But that night, the ship's gravity engine suddenly failed. Lola, who was still swimming, floated up with the water in the pool. In this huge ball of water, Lola was in danger. When she was about to drown, the ship quickly repaired the gravity system fortunately. The big ball of water wrapped around Lola fell down with a bang. Then, Lola and Jack quickly found Gus. They found the failure began 2 years ago in the hologram, and didn't know how to start. And Gus's health is getting worse and worse. After testing, the two found out Gus's hibernation bin had been malfunctioning. He suffered from multiple organ failure and was about to come to the end of his life. Before he died, Gus gave his identity bracelet to Jack, and hoped that Jack can find the fault to fix the ship. So they went to the main turbine room, constantly testing the various technical stations. But in the process, they pried open a hatch that could not be opened. The result was that Lola was instantly sucked in. It turns out that here suffered a meteorite impact, resulting in a loss of pressure in the cabin. Jack quickly kicked the controller to Lola to seal the hole. With their efforts, they escaped from the disaster. A tear that Jack found the meteorite penetrated several compartments. So they started tracking along the way. Finally found that the reactor control computer has been broken by the meteorite. However, just after Jack replaced the computer with spare parts, they found that the reactor was not venting properly. He must go to the outside of the ship to open the exhaust valve. Otherwise, the whole ship will be destroyed. So in order to stop the disaster from happening, Jack put on the spacesuit to the outside of the ship. But he discovered that he had to jam the switch to keep the exhaust valve open. Lola knew that this meant Jack would be engulfed in flames. She couldn't bear to do it. But the reactor was about to explode, and the ship was about to be destroyed. So Lola could only hold back her grief and pulled down the exhaust valve. In an instant, the hot flames rushed to Jack and sprayed him out of the ship. The reactor restarted successfully. But Jack lost his safety harness and drifted further and further away. His spacesuit was gradually losing pressure due to the damage. So he used his last bit of strength to apologize to Lola. He apologizes to Lola and tells her how much he loves her. Lola was not willing to give up. she put on the suit and rushed out. She successfully caught the unconscious Jack. Then she used the medical cabin to save Jack's life. The two of them kissed again after the disaster. But Jack later told Lola that the medical cabin can put her into hibernation again, so she can fulfill her dream. However, Lola still chose to stay and accepted Jack's proposal of marriage. 88 years later, the ship is about to arrive on Homeworld 2. The awakened crew found that lobby is full of greenery, birds and flowers. Although Jack and Lola failed to reach the end of the trip, but the two people who fell in love had a wonderful and happy life in this interstellar journey. If you like my story, please don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.